Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to a new cycle on Global TV, live in the nation's capital, Abuja, with Uyi Agmofwebe. The Trade Union Congress, TUC, has said Nigerians are still waiting to experience the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu-led administration, asserting that their hopes have been dampened in the face of the current perilous economy. In a New Year's statement by the President and Secretary General, Festus Osifo and Nuhu Toro, the Labour Center issued a 10-point demand from the current administration this year, stating that the outgone year was one long, excruciating litany of lost opportunities and dashed hopes. Amongst the demands, they said all agreements between Labour and government, including payment of monthly 35,000 naira wage award to public servants in local, state and federal services, must be implemented until a new national minimum wage is implemented. TUC also asked that a new national minimum wage must be negotiated, implemented, and if further delayed in the year, arrears must be paid. Let's turn to the nation's southwest now, where Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke says the government has streamlined taxes into a single bill to boost the ease of doing business. The governor announced this in a statement on X, stated that it will help to amplify and simplify payments for businesses in the state. He added that the government has also introduced an online payment portal and implemented various automated systems to enhance service delivery, further stating that there are point of sales terminals in tax stations across the states, commercial banks across Nigeria, and money transfer services for those outside the country. In addition, he said his administration has completed the deployment of automation system for improved service delivery on payment of rents and lease on government property. Governor for your state, Seyi Makinde, has commenced the distribution of 15,000 free reflective jackets to commercial motorcycle riders in the state. Makinde, in a statement by Special Advisor on Media, Suleiman Olaruwanju, said the governor spoke through the Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, Mushabao Babatunde, at the ceremony organized by the Management Information Center Office of the Governor at the Western Hall Secretariat in Ibadan, the state capital. He stressed that the exercise was to ensure the safety and adequate security of all citizens in the state, noting that security of lives and property is one of the strategic pillars in the roadmap for sustainable development. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Lagos State says it has published the Surulere Federal Constituency by-election notice as required by law. INEC Public Affairs Officer in the state, Adenike Oriowo, on Friday said the notice was pasted at the Commission's headquarters in Saboyaba for public viewing. She revealed further that INEC had commenced the implementation of activities and timetable for the elections, adding that the preparations were on top gear to ensure strict adherence to relevant laws and guidelines for the poll. She, however, assured that the Commission will not fail to deliver a credible by-election in the constituency. A former Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Pauline Tallen, has urged the Court of Appeal in Abuja to set aside the judgment of the Federal Capital Territory High Court, asking her to tender an apology to the judiciary for describing a court judgment as a kangaroo judgment. The court had, in a judgment on December 18, 2023, given Tallen 30 days to tender a public apology or risk being barred from holding any public office in Nigeria again. The NBA spokesman, Akorede Lawal, explained that Tallen criticized the court after the Federal High Court in Yola on October 14, 2022, had nullified the candidature of Aishetu Dahiru, alias Binani, as the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Adamawa State. The suit against Binani was filed by Nuhu Ribadu, now National Security Advisor. Tallen was said to have described the court verdicts in the case as kangaroo judgment, to the annoyance of the NBA, which dragged her before the court. The National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS president for Republic of Benin, Ugochukwu Favor, has called for the arrest of the reporter Umar Audu, who went undercover to expose corruption in the issuance of certificates in the country. Speaking in an interview, Favor slammed the reporter for having his passport stamped and obtaining certificates without being physically present. Favor claimed the reporter was implicating the government and questioning the credibility of agencies like the Immigration and National Youth Service Corps by going undercover. When asked by the interviewer if the reporter's efforts exposed loopholes that should be addressed, the NANS president stated that he is not in doubt and that since it is already out, he would want to urge the government to look into it and take the necessary steps as quickly as possible. The federal government has again promised to deliver the uncompleted section of the Abuja-Kaduna before the end of the year. Speaking in a meeting with all directors of the ministry in Abuja, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, assured that the ministry is ready to conquer all contractual obstacles and ensure delivery of projects for the benefit of Nigerians before end of 2024. According to the former Ebonyi State Governor, the contractors have requested a review of the price of 1.3 billion naira to finance the project. The immediate past Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, has officially written to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, seeking an extension of the deadline to meet with the Commission's interrogators over an ongoing probe into the 37.1 billion naira allegedly laundered during her tenure in office through a contractor, James Okwete. Umar Farouk, in a letter, cited health challenges as her reason for her plea. It was reported that the ex-minister risked arrest after failing to appear before the interrogators at the EFCC headquarters on Wednesday. Reacting to the developments, a spokesperson for the EFCC, Dele Oyewole, said Umar Farouk had sent a legal representative to the commission and written to be given more time to honor the invitation while citing health challenges. No fewer than 9 Ogun communities are currently experiencing power outage due to the top drop in power generation from the Egbin Power Station. The Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company announced this on the social media handles late on Thursday night. According to the IBEDC, Abeokuta, Ogun State capital, is one of the areas affected by the Egbin power generation drop. The distribution company said its technical team was working with relevant stakeholders to ensure the restoration of power supply, even as it apologized for the inconvenience. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has raised the alarm over youths in Borno State drinking fermented human urine perceived over 100 days as an alternative to hard drugs. The commander of the narcotics of the NDLEA in Borno State, Liasu Mani, disclosed this in a statement in Maiduguri, the state capital. He said abuse of psychoactive substances was prevalent among the youths, noting that they also take other unusual substances such as lizard dung, camel urine, Lipton soaked in gin, and methylated spirits mixed with soft drinks. He stated that they also inhale restroom fumes and gutter dirt in their quest to get intoxicated. Quite a sad story there, considering the health implications. Let's take a look at other stories for you now. Sweet Sheep, a military manufacturing company based in the United States of America, has detonated 2 high-tech unmanned water vessels to the Nigerian government. The equipment is S2 and S3 Swift Sea Stalkers. The company donated during a recent visit by Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle. According to a statement on Friday by the ministry's Director of Press, Henshaw Ogubike, the minister had gone to the United States of America to inspect the facilities of high-tech military-producing hardware companies in the country. Presenting the unmanned vessels to President Bola Tinubu, the minister noted that the equipment would help to protect the maritime environments of the country as well as other areas. He stated that the equipment would be deployed to the Niger Delta, Lake Chad region, and other maritime regions of the nation. You're watching News Cycle coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles as you now see on your screen. When News Cycle returns, UN forecast 2.4% global growth slowdown in 2024. The news continues shortly with details of this and other stories for you right after this break. Please don't go away. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the news cycle with Mofwewe. Time to turn to the foreign scene now. Hampered by bad weather and damaged roads, Japanese rescuers have searched on Friday for 222 people still missing 4 days after a devastating earthquake as the death toll approached 100. 2 elderly women were pulled from the rubble on Thursday. However, hopes of finding other survivors after the 7.5 magnitude quake on New Year's Day were fading with rain, snow, and falling temperatures forecasts in the coming days. Thousands of rescuers from all over Japan have been battling aftershocks and roads littered with gaping holes and blocked by frequent landslides in the central Ishikawa region to reach hundreds of people in stranded communities. On Thursday afternoon, 72 hours after the quake, the 2 older women were miraculously pulled alive from the remains of their homes in Wajiwa, one of them thanks to a sniper dog. The port city of Wajima on the Noto Peninsula was one of the worst hits, with a pungent smell of soot steel in the air and faint columns of smoke visible from a huge fire that destroyed hundreds of structures on the first day. More than 76,000 people have been displaced in Lebanon in almost 3 months of near daily fighting along the border with Israel. That's according to United Nations International Organization for Migration. The border area has seen a surge of violence since the Israel-Hamas war broke out in early October, with tit-for-tat exchanges of fire continuing on Friday between Israeli forces and Iran-backed Hezbollah, a Lebanese ally of Palestinian militant group Hamas. The International Organization for Migration, IOM, has said that the escalation has displaced 76,018 people, mainly in areas of southern Lebanon bordering Israel. More than 80% of the displaced Lebanese are staying with relatives, according to the report, and only 2% housed in 14 collective shelters spread across the south of the country, mainly in the coastal city of Tyre and in the Hezbollah region. The rest have rented apartments or moved into homes in areas further from the border, the UN agency added. Cross-border violence has left 175 people dead in Lebanon, including 129 Hezbollah fighters and more than 20 civilians, including 3 journalists. Let's turn to the U.S. now, where Secretary of State Antony Blinken is back to the Middle East on his 4th trip since the Israeli-Hamas war began, expecting tough talks as he presses for immediate new aid for battered Gaza and regional de-escalation. The State Department says the top American diplomat will visit both Israel and the West Bank, home of the Palestinian Authority, and 5 Arab countries that include Egypt, Jordan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. Secretary Blinken departed late Thursday, bound first for Turkey, an uneasy U.S. ally that is home of key Hamas leaders, despite being one of the few Muslim-majority countries to recognize Israel, followed by Greece. He will discuss immediate measures to increase substantially humanitarian assistance to Gaza, where the World Health Organization has warned of the risk of famine and disease. On a side note, a teenager armed with a handgun and shotgun killed a fellow student and wounded 5 other people at a high school in the Midwestern U.S. state of Iowa on Thursday, according to authorities. The shooting at around 7:30 a.m. triggered a major police response as emergency vehicles and armed units rushed to Perry High School, where classes had not yet started for the day.
All of our condolences to the victims and their families. They need your thoughts and prayers, as well as time and space to process and to grieve.
Our hearts are heavy today, and our prayers are with the Perry community. This strikes at the heart of everything that we hold dear. This senseless tragedy has shaken our entire state to the core, and I want this community to know that every Iowan stands with you.
The victim, who died, was in 6th grade, meaning aged 11 or 12, and was likely in the high school for a breakfast program, said Mitch Mochev, Assistant Director of the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation. Let's take a look at other developments. The U.S. World Economic Situation and Prospects WESP report for 2024 projects showed out in global growth from an estimated 2.7% in 2023 to 2.4% in 2024. The flagship forecast launched in New York indicates that 2023 stronger than expected GDP growth coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic masked short-term risks and structural vulnerabilities in the world economy. The somber short-term outlook is based on persistently high interest rates, further escalation of conflicts, sluggish international trade, and increasing climate disasters, which all pose significant challenges to global growth. It points to a prolonged period of tighter credit conditions and higher borrowing costs, presenting strong headwinds for a world economy saddled with debt and in need of more investments to resuscitate growth, fight climate change, and accelerate progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. And now time to take a look at business. Nigeria spent 2.7 trillion naira to import premium motor spirits, PMS, diesel, and jet fuel in the third quarter of 2023, data by the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, have shown. Coming amidst the inability to overhaul the country's refineries, white products have remained the largest import of the country. The total import of PMS imported during the period stood at 1.9 trillion naira, while diesel was 736.7 billion naira, and jet fuel was 135.8 billion naira. While Nigeria remains a leading crude oil producer, the country is one of the only major oil producers that is totally on the importation of petroleum products. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, carried out a scrutiny of Dangote Group's financial records as part of an investigation into potential misappropriation of foreign currency obtained from the central bank during the tenure of the former Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. The bank had deployed various exchange rates and provided dollars at lower rates to certain businesses, including Dangote, facilitating their importation of raw materials. There was no immediate response from a Dangote spokesperson to requests for comments by journalists. The Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has stated that a test run on the 60,000 barrel per day refinery in Port Harcourt will be completed this month ahead of the full resumption of work later. The spokesperson for the company, Femi Shoneye, made this known in a statement. According to him, testing will conclude shortly, ensuring the refinery's efficient operation, and the phase will be completed within the month, adding that the refinery, currently undergoing repair works, is set to commence operations at an initial processing rate of 60,000 barrels per day. However, the chief executive officer of the company stated that the second phase of repair works of the Port Harcourt refinery will be completed by the fourth quarter of 2024. While anticipating to achieve its maximum capacity of 210,000 barrels per day later in the year. The federal government has revealed that the electricity companies in Nigeria are short of 2 trillion naira, an equivalent of $2.5 billion, in capital to revive the industry and provide a steady power supply nationwide. An advisor to President Bola Tinubu on energy, Olu Venier, observed that Nigerian electricity firms are burdened with excessive debts and insufficient capital, constraining their ability to invest in expanding household electricity distribution. According to her, inadequate pricing, patchy revenue collection, and a dilapidated national grid have left most residents in Africa's most populous nation to reduce their power using noisy generators. She noted that there are plans to make electricity tariffs cost-reflective alongside recapitalization. This move, she says, is expected to enhance the liquidity and sustainability of power sector. According to her, if tariff adjustments are not implemented, the weakness in the naira, which experienced a 50% drop against the dollar last year, and escalating inflation might drive energy subsidies up to 1.62 trillion naira in the current year. Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, MWUN, has threatened to shut down a nation's seaports from Tuesday, January 9, 2024, over the alleged refusal of international oil companies and stevedoring contractors to comply with extant laws. Adewale Adeyanju, President General of the union, said that all jetties and oil gas platforms would be shut down on that day. According to a statement signed by John Ikemefuna, head of media, the union had written a series of letters, press releases, issued ultimatums, and marine notices given by NIMASA and several ministerial orders to no avail. The union is, however, demanding the total compliance of international oil companies to the stevedoring regulations in line with the communiques signed by all relevant stakeholders in the sector. And that's it on News Cycle, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms and using Global TVNG and other handles as you now see on your screen. I'm Uyag Bofewe, thanking you very especially for watching. On behalf of the production team, enjoy the rest of your day.